Hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes, to peace. The ball is now in their court.
The acute exhaustion and demoralization of the Russians fighting in eastern Ukraine comes across in a vivid description of conditions on the ground, as told by the Telegram blog of a Russian soldier titled, revealingly, Groundhog Day. He's sitting, licking himself next to a bottle of water. Yes, it is impossible to go to the toilet. One man was almost killed today in the lower toilet. He came in as if drunk, severely concussed. Soon it will be our dugout's turn to leave. I don't know when it will be, but I hope it will be in the next 24 hours. Everyone is exhausted and tired. I can't imagine how we're going to walk with rucksacks on the mud. But we have to, yeah. I'm writing this note in case we manage to get to a safe zone. I really want to drink and go home. To be honest, I was thirstier. I drank all the water I could. I even dug up the dry showers. There were small bags of water. I managed to get enough water for 2 mugs. But what is 2 glasses for 5 people? Nothing. At 7 in the morning, there was an arrival at the neighboring dugout. Everyone is alive, but the entrance is heavily blocked. It takes almost 2 hours for the occupants to remove the rubble. It is impossible to go out and help. Enemy eyes are constantly hanging over our heads. Evening of the same day. Today's Groundhog Day is not like the others, and at the same time, even more similar to all the previous ones. We sit on the bags, waiting for the coveted command. The weight of the rucksack is terrifying. The rucksack is abandoned because there is no strength to move at all. I have only equipment, weapons, and a few small things with me, although only 1/3 of the route has been traveled. Now, an insanely long wait for my turn. I hope that I will still return home alive. It would be a shame to die at the finish line of this war. We left. We left under shelling by drones and in pitch darkness. We froze in an icy pit all night. We left, running away from a kamikaze drone, and we are heading to a strong point where we will have a short rest from everything. We are tired, exhausted, there is a ringing emptiness in our heads, and drowsiness is rolling in waves. American defense startups have teamed up with Ukrainian manufacturers to develop advanced drones for the U.S. military, according to the Wall Street Journal. The media notes that U.S. startups have spent billions of venture capital dollars in hopes of developing the small drones that the Pentagon says it needs for future conflicts, but many have produced only expensive aircraft that don't fly very well. Ukrainian drone makers, meanwhile, have mastered mass-producing drones despite limited resources and are looking for new customers and capital. Now, both sides are coming together, and this cooperation is attracting the attention of the U.S. Department of Defense. No American company is keeping up with Ukraine. Their developments work perfectly, and they have the best laboratory for testing all models in combat conditions. Nathan Mintz, co-founder of the Southern California startup CX2, which last year signed an agreement to install its software and sensors on Ukrainian drones for combat testing, stated. The WSJ article notes that the Pentagon's growing interest in Ukrainian drones underscores the challenges faced by American drone developers and highlights Ukraine's remarkable advancements since the Russian invasion. However, despite the Defense Department's emphasis on the importance and funding priority of small autonomous drones, these sentiments have yet to ignite a boom in the American drone industry. Americans are also interested in the rapid scaling of Ukraine's new developments. According to Pentagon estimates, American manufacturers can produce up to 100,000 drones annually. In comparison, Ukraine manufactured over 2 million drones last year, including those capable of flying hundreds of kilometers and used for strikes on targets deep within Russia. The publication is confident that the collaboration between the U.S. and Ukraine in drone development is likely to continue, despite talks about a possible end to the Russian-Ukrainian war. Any twists in diplomacy are unlikely to disrupt the connection that has formed between American and Ukrainian drone manufacturing startups, or overturn the efforts of the Department of Defense to implement better innovations from Ukraine, Pentagon officials and startup founders shared with the WSJ. The publication notes that to make the drone sector a catalyst for Ukraine's economic growth after the war, Ukrainian companies want to have American customers and investors. Ukraine has made it pretty clear that it intends to be the drone capital of the world when this war is over, said Derek Whitley, co-founder of Vivum, a startup that sells its AI software for autonomous systems to the Pentagon. The Pentagon's Defense Innovation Unit, which develops new technologies for the military, has reportedly signed contracts with 2 Ukrainian-American partnerships for the first time in recent weeks. The companies will test their long-range strike drones this spring in Ukraine, where they are manufactured, and then will be able to compete for contracts from the U.S. Department of Defense. The DIU also added a Ukrainian drone manufacturer to the list of approved potential suppliers for the U.S. Army for the first time. At the same time, according to the WSJ, there are obstacles to bringing Ukrainian drones to the global market, not least due to restrictions on drone exports in Ukraine. Therefore, Ukrainian drone manufacturers have banded together to lobby Kyiv to lift the ban on their sale outside the country, and are working with their new American partners to find workarounds. Another potential problem for Ukrainian manufacturers is that they often rely on spare parts from China, and to sell drones to the Pentagon, they will have to look for suppliers in other countries. Macron has called on military leaders from 30 countries to plan security guarantees for Ukraine after a peace deal is reached. He also backed the 30-day ceasefire and progress in Ukraine-US negotiations. The ball is now in Russia's court. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. He added that an expected minerals deal would give the United States a vested interest in Ukraine's security, although he stopped short again of promising formal guarantees. A growing economy gives them a tremendous amount of leverage and power and the ability to fund their own defenses, he said.
Today we made an offer that the Ukrainians have accepted, which is to enter into a ceasefire and into immediate negotiations to end this conflict in a way that's enduring and sustainable and accounts for their interests, their security, their ability to prosper as a nation. I want to personally thank, we both want to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Majesty, for hosting us, for making this possible. They've been instrumental in this process, and we're very grateful to them for hosting us here today. And hopefully we'll take this offer now to the Russians. And we hope that they'll say yes to peace. The ball is now in their court. And but again, the president's objective here is, number one, above everything else, he wants the war to end. And I think today Ukraine has taken a concrete step in that regard. We hope the Russians will reciprocate.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. He's doing the job every day.